Mohit. Let's also tell our viewers a little bit about what's happening right now as we speak. So viewers, what you're seeing on your screens right now are live visuals from the airport in Tel Aviv, Ben-Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv. Prime Minister Modi's plane has landed. In just a few moments from now, he will be coming out of the aircraft and then he's going to be welcomed by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, I'm being told. And after he receives a ceremonial welcome at the airport, he will be going to Jerusalem, which is about an hour away from where he is right now in Tel Aviv, and then he will be welcomed warmly by members of the Indian diaspora. It's a packed agenda for the Prime Minister during his second visit to Israel that we are witnessing. Last time he went to Israel was in 2017. Let me go back to my colleagues who continue to be with us. We have Mohit as well as Srinjoy live with us, getting us the latest information. Srinjoy, I believe last time also in 2017, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu himself had come to welcome the Prime Minister, and this time as well he himself will be receiving him for the ceremonial welcome.
Yes, Prime Minister Netanyahu had come, and at that time Prime Minister Modi had a lot on his plate. He also went to the Holocaust Museum, and he of course did a lot of other things. He and Prime Minister Netanyahu actually went to the beach and had an important event there. So there was a lot happening there, and this is a particularly important meeting. That one too was important, and this one too. It is very clear that there is a lot to be done by both sides. At that time, Prime Minister Netanyahu made it clear that if you look from the Mediterranean, from Israel towards the east, the one country that you see that is a democracy, a full democracy.
I'm just interrupting you there, Srinjoy. We are getting live visuals of Israeli Prime Minister, and Srinjoy, I believe that's his wife. Both have come to receive the Prime Minister at the airport, and that also tells us a little bit about how important India and Prime Minister Narendra Modi really is for Israeli Prime Minister, for the country Israel, because, you know, before his visit, Netanyahu also described India as a global power and Prime Minister Modi as a personal friend, saying we will create an entire system, essentially a hexagon of alliances around or within the Middle East.
Yes, he did, because he looked at 6 countries working together: Greece, Cyprus, India, Israel, and 2 other countries, one from North Africa and one from the Arabian Peninsula. He didn't mention exactly which these 2 countries were, but very clearly these were the 6 he was speaking of. And he felt that this would be an axis of peace, this would be an axis of stability, this would be an axis of serious change to the region.
Right, and those are the visuals of Israeli Prime Minister, and of course now in just a few seconds from now, I believe, Mohit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be coming out of the aircraft, and at the airport is Israeli Prime Minister, who calls Prime Minister Narendra Modi his friend, is there to receive him personally, and that says a lot about the relationship between both the leaders and both the countries.
Well, yes, in fact, and that is the message that has come from the Israeli side, that how important this particular visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has. And we have few people over here, ma'am. Could you please come to this? Say your name, ma'am.
Yes,
How long you have been living in Israel?
I got here. My mom is born in Mumbai, Maharashtra, and I'm full Indian from Mumbai, Manipur, Maharashtra.
All right, I'm just interrupting you there, Mohit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi coming out of the aircraft, and now he's going to be welcomed by Israeli Prime Minister, who himself has come to receive the Prime Minister. Viewers, those are the first set of pictures we are bringing to you from the airport in Tel Aviv. Prime Minister Narendra Modi now coming out of the aircraft, and he will be welcomed by the Israeli Prime Minister. Those are the first set of visuals we are getting for you. And there you can see, there comes the hug between two friends, two leaders. Prime Minister Narendra Modi sharing a moment with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. That's the hug, I believe, and the handshake. And now he is being introduced by everyone else who has gathered, who has in fact come to the airport to welcome the Prime Minister. So as soon as the Prime Minister, reached there and he was hugged by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, both the leaders sharing smiles, and there you can see the handshake and the hug. Let me go back to my colleague Srinjoy, who continues to be with us. Srinjoy, this bonhomie, the world, of course, is also going to be watching this very, very closely, isn't it?
Undoubtedly. This is something the world is watching right now. Because in the middle of all of this, I mean, there have been very few world leaders who have actually visited Tel Aviv and Jerusalem in recent months. And the fact that Prime Minister decided to come here is a particularly important symbolic gesture. It is a clear way of telling the 10 million people of Israel, not just the Prime Minister alone, but the 10 million people in Israel, that look here, we are with you, we support you, we are your friends, and we will not let you down.
I think let's also see if we have some audio there, as far as these visuals are concerned. Let's cut across. All right, so there you can see, Srinjoy, if you could describe for us the importance of these visuals. Prime Minister Narendra Modi being welcomed personally by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and, of course, his wife. Now, that's like giving a personal touch to this welcome, isn't it?
That, of course, personal touch, but it's more than that. It basically means what? Prime Minister Netanyahu could have asked one of his cabinet colleagues to come and receive Prime Minister Modi, but he didn't. He decided to go himself. It's a way of saying, you're my friend, you're important, you're an important person, and you are big for Israel. And this visit has begun like that, with Prime Minister Modi being received in the way that he was. And it's also a way of saying, you're not just a friend, you're also family. I have come not alone, but with my wife.
Well, absolutely.
So it's a big message to Modi and to the world and to India.
Right. Srinjoy, I'm just interrupting you there. Let's cut across to the live visuals.
Indian national anthem being played there, followed by a tight hug between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Benjamin Netanyahu, who has come to the tarmac to receive his friend with his wife. And Srinjoy, you were telling us how this is adding a personal touch to the whole thing. Mohit, after this, they proceed directly for the bilaterals. Tell us what all is going to be on the table and why is it significant?
Prime Minister himself, the head of the government has come all the way to receive the Prime Minister, is a sign of the importance of India, the importance of that Netanyahu gives Modi, because they are not just friends, they are also in a way almost very close friends, because they've known each other for a while, they've discussed things for a while, they've worked together for a while, and Modi's visit to Jerusalem is important for Netanyahu. It's also big for Israel. It's a way of telling Israel that, look here, you're not alone. We are your friends. So it's for not just for Netanyahu, it's for the 10 million people of Israel. It's a big moment, and now begins the bilateral in a little while. The bilateral, of course, will have many features. It's a strategic issues like the hexagon that Netanyahu has spoken about, defense-related issues, technology is important, water, agriculture, all these issues will come up during the meeting. The Israelis have been able to farm in a desert, and this is something India can benefit from. The fact that they have done so much with water is something our cities can benefit from.
Yes.
And there is, of course, defense. I mean, whether it's missiles, whether it's drones, Israeli technology has been helpful.
Yes.
In 1999, when India was fighting in the Kargil war, the Israelis told India, look, take whatever you want from us, and then send us, we'll send you the bill later.
And
just take what you want.
Srinjoy, these two countries have been all-weather friends. You know, in the changing strategic scenario in this world, one really doesn't know who is standing with who in times of difficulty. But these two leaders that you see, the countries that they represent, have always had their back, which becomes even more significant given the recent acerbic relations in the world. But joining me now is also Mohit. He's joining us from Tel Aviv. Mohit, we have seen the arrival of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, how Netanyahu chose to be personally present to welcome Indian Prime Minister. And we also saw what Jerusalem Post put out ahead of this meeting. The headlines in their national newspaper said, Namaste Modi. Some of the things that they have highlighted is New Delhi's burgeoning partnership with Jerusalem, maturing of ties between Israel and India, and Modi's visit set to open new phase in ties. As these two leaders head from here straight for bilaterals, tell us how and what will be on the table that will ensure opening up of the ties.
Well, in fact, you see, according to the schedule that has come from the officials, is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been welcomed by Benjamin Netanyahu, and also it's a big thing that has come out, given the fact that how it shows that how much value Israel has for India, and specifically for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the bond harmony between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Benjamin Netanyahu is something that have always been the matter of discussion, that how they are very close allies. And in fact, you see, the announcement of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Israel was announced by Benjamin Netanyahu in the Knesset, that is the Israeli parliament. So it shows that how important India is for Israel and how important Israel is for India. That is vice versa. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi will have initial 15 to 20 minutes meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu at Tel Aviv Airport, and post that they will be coming over here at King David Hotel. Right now we are reporting from King David Hotel, and members from Indian diaspora have already gathered over here. They are inside the hall, and they will be according Prime Minister Narendra Modi a warm welcome. We also spoke to the chef over here, and the chef also stated that they have prepared only veg menu for today, and Gujarati dishes are on the menu, specifically khichdi, which Prime Minister Narendra Modi likes, and Indian vegetables, and also Prime Minister Netanyahu will be having veg food only over here. Now, suppose that Prime Minister would be going to Knesset, that is Israeli parliament, and he will become the first Indian leader to address Knesset. We have seen in the past that how US President, Egyptian leaders, Argentinian President, they have Knesset, but this will be the first time. It will be a historic moment that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be addressing the Knesset. And also, India is world's largest democracy, and the leader of largest democracy will be going to the parliament of another nation, and he will be speaking about diplomacy, he will be speaking about democracy. And earlier two Prime Minister on umpteen occasions have stated that this is not the era of war, this is the era of peace and progress. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit coincides with the time the geopolitical tensions in these areas are at all-time high. Israel and US are on the verge of conflict. Israel also in a way is a part of it, and hence Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be discussing all the issues with Prime Minister Netanyahu. And tomorrow is the day when Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the morning will be going to the Holocaust Memorial, that is and in his earlier visit too, he visited the Holocaust Memorial. And remember, after Second World War, lots of Jews who were persecuted, they were given shelter in India. India has a sizable amount of Jew community in our country, and they have always been respected. They have been given protection, and Indian Jews have always stated that India is a very, very safe country for them, and perhaps that is why people over here love India so much. They have not just Indians, but people from Israel, the locals, they have also come over here to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, when it comes to the MOUs, we will hear statements tomorrow. It is expected that MOUs in the field of defense, in the field of agriculture, in the field of technology, in the field of AI, that could also be the part. Whether that announcement would be there today or tomorrow or not, that remains to be seen. But this is a very important visit, and Prime Minister Netanyahu going to the airport, receiving Prime Minister Narendra Modi with his wife is something which is a gesture which shows the world that India and Israel diplomacy will work as per their own benefits, their own interests, and their own friendship. Nobody, any third country cannot dictate us that how exactly we will go forward when it comes to geopolitics and bilaterals between various nations. So this is something which is very, very important. And you know, the optics of it, we need to see the optics of it, that how Prime Minister Netanyahu has himself gone over there, and as Sara was saying, he could have sent anybody else, any other minister, any senior leader, but the optics is that Israel considers India as a very, very good friend, and vice versa. Prime Minister Narendra Modi always have maintained that Israel is a very close ally. Specifically when it comes to the defense sector, Israel has helped us a lot. So shortly from now, Prime Minister would be reaching over here. He will be accorded a grand welcome, and post that he will be leaving for knesset, where he will be addressing the Israeli parliament, and what exactly would be the content of his speech, that would be very, very important. So the message will go out to the world from Israeli Prime Minister, from the Israeli parliament, by Indian Prime Minister, about the diplomacy, about the economics, about the defense, and also about how India and Israel value their friendship. Back to you.
How they value this friendship was best described, Srinjoy, by JP Singh, who happens to be India's ambassador to Israel, who said, "We don't compete, we complement each other." So as we sit down for bilaterals, there will also be trade that is on the table in a year where India has successfully managed to sign FTAs with the EU, the all-important deal that was called the mother of all deals by EU themselves. Then the trade agreement, which now stands as legal hurdle with the US. And now, could we also be looking at a trade treaty, a free trade agreement with Israel?
Yeah, anything is possible. Israel, of course, is a smallish country, just 10 million people. But, of course, a trade agreement with Israel will be very helpful. In fact, it's Israeli technology which would be very helpful to India for the general people. I mean, this desalination is something that the Israelis are very good at. Forget about all the weapons. The desalination is something that will help Indian cities that are really parched. Then also these agricultural practices, because they've done so much in the desert, in the Negev desert, they've greened large parts of the desert. That too will be useful for India, particularly in the Thar areas and other areas where there is a water scarcity. So water is the second W here after weapons. And let's not forget that. Weapons, of course, particularly the defensive weapons, the anti-missile systems. All of that the Israelis are very good at, and very clearly all these things will come up in the discussions. Naturally, there will be no defense deals announced. Maybe issues will come up. But the important point to note is that defensive issues, weapons, like anti-missile systems, also missiles, also drones, these are things the Israelis are good at, and these are things that India would like.
Yes, and it's very interesting how this relationship between the two countries has developed, from back in 1948, where India had opposed the creation of Israel, to today, when we see that these two partner countries have each other's back. Mohit was just telling us about what's lined up next in terms of the menu. And I find it quite interesting, Mohit, that you said that even Benjamin Netanyahu is going to be served vegetarian food. Is that an aberration or is that a norm?
Well, in fact, you see, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a vegetarian, and hence what we are being told over here is that the menu is pure vegetarian. It has food from Gujarat, specifically khichdi, because Prime Minister likes khichdi very much, and also we will have bhindi, karela, Indian vegetables that will be part of the menu, and also the food will be very, very light because Prime Minister is I spoke to the main chef over here, and she told us that she accompanied Netanyahu when Netanyahu came to India, so she took care of the food of Netanyahu, and today she is taking care of food for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And she also told me that Prime Minister Netanyahu also likes Indian food very much, from chicken tikka to chicken kebab. These are the items that he likes very much, and perhaps that is why all Indian cuisine is being prepared over here. There will be certain Israeli items too, but all menu would be veg. So clearly,
because we now have the reaction that interaction of yours with the chef. Let's listen in about what's going to be on the table. Apart from food for thought, there is also actual food to feast on.
We have with us Leena Pushkarna. Leena Pushkarna is a known name when it comes to Indians in Israel. She has also got Pravasi Bharati Award, and she has her own chain of hotels in Israel. Now today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is coming to Jerusalem, and she and her team will be preparing food. Ma'am, thank you for speaking to Times Now. So my first question, what exactly would be on the menu? You cannot go into the details, but mixture of Indian and Israeli food, what exactly would be?
We have, firstly, everything is vegetarian.
Okay.
And so we have a mix of some Israeli cuisine, which we'd like to present to the Prime Minister. And we have, I have in my team also a local, a Gujarati chef.
Okay, Gujarati chef.
Who's making a few light Gujarati dishes for Prime Minister. And I'm sure he's going to enjoy that. But apart from that, we're introducing him to some little bit of Israeli fare also, which has been done by the chef of the hotel, King David.
Okay.
And this is, we are very honored. Israelis, Indians in Israel are really very, very honored that Prime Minister Modi ji is visiting us in the gap of 9 years for the second time. That just shows how much he cares about Israel and about Indians in Israel. But apart from that, Israelis are very happy today, that because every morning when we get up, we think today the war is going to start or tomorrow the war is going to start. And it's been 2 years since this war has been dragging on. You can see that people are not happy because when they smile, the smile doesn't reach the eyes.
Exactly.
So
yesterday, I'll just want to share, yesterday I was coming in a cab and the woman was driving it, and she asked that, you are from India, you are a journalist, is something happening? So that is on their mind always. I mean, people of Israel, ma'am.
Well, we Israelis feel that Modi ji will bring peace to Israel.
The Prime Minister has always said that this is not the era of war, this is the era of peace. And when Prime Minister Netanyahu and Prime Minister Modi meet, they will be speaking about the defense ties, they will be speaking about the regional cooperation amidst the geopolitical tensions that is happening.
See, there's a lot of tension all over the world today. It's not only the Middle East, and every country has to be ready to protect itself, including India.
Yes.
But apart from that, friendship plays a big part in politics. So when two leaders are close to each other, the magic happens.
Also, ma'am, now coming back to the food, now, as you said that there's some light Gujarati food. Prime Minister, we know, likes khichdi. So khichdi would be part of the menu?
That's yes, because this afternoon, I'm sure he's going to be a little bit tired after the flight and then greeting all our Indian community. So one of the dishes being prepared is moong dal khichdi for him. Yes,
and all
with his dahi kadhi. And we could get bhindi, we could get karela from the Indian agricultural farms.
Okay. So all of that is on the menu. So you heard Leena Pushkarna. She's somebody who represents Indians in Israel, and she's somebody who speaks about the importance of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit and how exactly Israelis are welcoming him in India with all the food and the love.
And I have to tell you that Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu is very fond of Indian food. So is his wife and his boys.
So have you ever fed him the Indian?
Oh, definitely. They visit
what does he like?
They visit my restaurants for the last 30 years. He likes chicken tikka very much,
okay,
or tikka masala.
Okay.
And one of his boys is vegan, vegetarian. So we're preparing something special for him too this evening. And it's just two people who like each other coming together. And really, I hope the magic happens. Politics takes place. Countries share their every to do with agriculture, to do with business, everything is being done. But when it's on a personal level, it becomes better.
Thank you for speaking to us, ma'am. This is Mohit Bhatt reporting from Jerusalem from Times Now.
Mohit, very simply put, she just summed up how diplomacy works. It's not always in the power handshakes. It's also in small gestures like what is happening in Israel. It's also in things like you need to take care of, you at least have paid thought to what your visiting dignitary has preference for. It shows in the food menu. It shows in personal gestures like turning up to receive your guest at the tarmac. And that is when it lays the foundation of a strong relationship. But talking of what you refer to, this is not the era of war. Prime Minister's visit also comes at a time when there are heightened tensions between the United States and Iran. Do you think the world will also be watching these two leaders meeting, especially from the defense perspective?
Well, yes, in fact, and you see, India is the largest democracy in the world. We are an important player when it comes to geopolitics or economy all throughout the world. We are the fourth largest economy, and by 2027, we will become the third largest economy of the world. So clearly, India is a big market, and when India says that I am your friend, that means a lot for the other country. Now, Israel, as Joy sir was saying, they have a very small amount of population, small amount of land, and they have done a lot in their particular country. But then as the geopolitical tensions are on rise, we know for a fact that Iran has been blaming Israel for all those things that have happened in Iran. And this is the message from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, that we will not leave our friends alone when they are in problem. And perhaps that is why what we see is that this visit has come at a time when still the geopolitical tensions in this area are on a rise. We know that how Iran and US are engaging in conflict. Donald Trump is threatening Iran. So clearly what we see as of now is that the gesture, as you rightly pointed out, these are the gestures. The Prime Minister coming over here, visiting Israel, Netanyahu going to the airport to welcome him. These gestures show that how important India and Israel are to each other. And when it comes to Israel, they are top-notch in defense sector. When it comes to India, India is a big economy, huge manpower, huge brains, technology, and hence if these two countries meet, then the defense sector, the agriculture sector, the AI sector, the technology, everything would be discussed in that meeting. And then amidst the global geopolitical tension, the global wars that are going on, the message will be from Prime Minister Narendra Modi that we need to focus on progress and peace, because this is not the era of war. Because I have visited Jerusalem and Tel Aviv from past 2-3 days. I've visited various places. People have this thing in their mind. Even the cab drivers are asking that you are journalists from India, have you come here to cover the war? Every day while we sleep, we think about war. And hence, this visit is very important, that India gives out a message that we are here with Israel. We are here.
Yes, and that instant connect shows, even in what Reena Pushkarna was telling you earlier, how people enjoy the local cuisine, how Prime Minister himself enjoys Indian cuisine. This people-to-people connect is also something that reflects in day-to-day life. You have, in fact, spoken to some of the people from Indian diaspora who are extremely excited for the Prime Minister to be visiting Israel. Let's listen into their reactions.
मेरा नाम फ्लोरी शिमोनी है और मैं हमारे इंडियन एम्बेसी से बहुत कनेक्टेड हूँ और हमें बहुत खुशी हो रही है कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी जी यहाँ पर आए हैं, दूसरे वक्त आए हैं और हमें बहुत बहुत गर्व महसूस होता है कि वो हमारे इजराइल, हमारे फादरलैंड के साथ इतनी अच्छी रिलेशनशिप रखते हैं और हमेशा ये रिलेशनशिप बढ़ती रहे और हमारी दोस्ती हमेशा कायम रहे। हम बहुत सालों से इजराइल में हैं मगर हमारे दिल अभी तक हिंदुस्तानी ही है।
3 साल से इधर हूँ और मैं केयरगिवर का काम करती हूँ, बट इंडियन एम्बेसी, थैंक्स टू इंडियन एम्बेसी, तो उन्होंने मुझे इनवाइट किया एंड मेरा सपना आज पूरा होगा कि हम मोदी जी को देख पाएंगे। मैं इसको दोस्ती के रूप में देखूंगी अभी तो, क्योंकि जैसे हालात है तो इजराइल और इंडिया की जो दोस्ती है वो वेरी स्ट्रांग होनी चाहिए है और होनी चाहिए। और
Prime Minister has been received by Benjamin Netanyahu at the tarmac, at the airport as he lands in Tel Aviv. They are going to next proceed for bilaterals. And as Mohit waits at the venue where Prime Ministers are likely to reach, Mohit, I hear you have some people who are speaking to there?
Yes. Well, yes, we have people from Israel over here with me, and they have come over here to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and they are wearing sari, Indian attire, and your name?
Hi, everybody. Namaste, Shalom. My name is Noah Mustafi. I have a company on cross-border innovation, tech and startups, India and Israel.
Okay, so you have come over here to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and you said that you have a company about AI and technology. AI and India just
AI Impact Summit last week.
You were there in India?
No, I'm coming next week. I'm coming next month.
So tell us about the technology and artificial intelligence, how they are very important when it comes to two countries like India and Israel, and the discussions on that could happen. Tell us something about that.
So I've been working on this sector with Israel and India for almost a decade now. Almost since 2017.
All right. Very prominent mention of the AI summit in India that took place last week. The world definitely has been watching India and will continue to do so, whether it is our international relationship, like Srinjoy said earlier. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi lands in Israel. It's not just about India. Netanyahu also seeks and stands to benefit from that interaction. But what about the politics back home? We'll touch base on that on the other side of this break.